Jamaica is becoming something the world never expected, and powerful people are nervous. This island is known for beaches, reggae and culture, but behind the scenes, billion-dollar decisions are quietly reshaping Jamaica's future, and they're pulling some of the biggest global powers into the conversation. And the truth is, none of this is happening by accident.
Jamaica has reaffirmed its commitment to the One China principle during Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi's visit to the Caribbean country. Wang Yi met with Prime Minister Andrew Holness and Foreign Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith as the two countries mark the 5th anniversary of their strategic partnership. Wang Yi says bilateral cooperation under the Belt and Road Initiative has been fruitful, and China looks forward to working with Jamaica to further align development strategies. He also says China supports Jamaica in safeguarding its sovereignty and playing a more important role in regional and international affairs.
Now, this isn't just about politics. This affects jobs, migration, trade, and where Jamaica stands in a world that's rapidly changing. It affects Jamaicans at home, the diaspora abroad, and even how the United States views the Caribbean going forward. Because when a small country suddenly starts receiving this much attention, it's usually because it sits in a very strategic place. And before we go any further, if this already sounds like something people should be paying attention to, take a second to like the video. It helps push conversations like this further, especially in the Caribbean and diaspora space. Jamaica's importance in global politics starts with geography. The island sits right in the middle of major global shipping lanes, acting as a natural gateway between North and South America and between the Atlantic and the Panama Canal. It's also uncomfortably close to the United States, close enough that anything happening in Jamaica is automatically on Washington's radar. From a military and trade standpoint, the Caribbean isn't just a vacation zone, it's a strategic buffer, and Jamaica is one of its anchors. But geography isn't the only reason Jamaica matters. Culturally, Jamaica punches far above its weight. Across the Caribbean, Jamaica often sets trends, shapes opinions, and influences direction. If you secure Jamaica's trust, many smaller islands tend to follow Jamaica's lead. That's not arrogance, that's reality. And global powers understand this very well. Now pause for a second, because understanding that influence is key to what comes next. And it explains why the decisions being made today carry far more weight than most people realize. For decades, China has been thinking long-term, while the United States has largely been reacting short-term. China doesn't rush headlines. It studies, waits, invests and builds relationships quietly. And Jamaica has been on China's radar for much longer than most people realize. Years ago, China proposed building a massive logistics hub on Goat Islands, a small island off Jamaica's coast. On paper, it looked like a game-changing project, turning Jamaica into a logistics powerhouse. But environmental groups raised serious concerns, public backlash grew, and eventually the project was slashed. To many observers, that looked like the end of China's ambitions in Jamaica. But here's where the story quietly changes. China didn't give up. It adjusted. Instead of pushing against public resistance, China shifted its focus to something far more powerful, Kingston's port. Today, China owns a majority stake in the Kingston container terminal alongside the Jamaican government. And that port isn't just any port. It's one of the most strategically important ports in the Caribbean, sitting directly along trade routes that lead straight into the United States. And if you're wondering why that matters so much, stay with me, because this next part explains why Washington started paying very close attention. From Washington's perspective, allowing China to gain that level of influence so close to US shores isn't just uncomfortable, it's threatening. And this is where figures like Donald Trump come into the picture. Trump has made no secret of his hostility toward China, repeatedly framing it as America's biggest competitor and long-term threat. So when China expands its footprint in Jamaica, it's not viewed as development, it's viewed as strategy. And China didn't stop at the port. Over the years, Chinese investment has quietly spread across the island. In Montego Bay, projects like the Pinnacle are set to transform Jamaica's skyline, becoming the tallest building in the Caribbean. There's the Western Children's Hospital, improving healthcare infrastructure. And then there are the highways, major connectivity projects like Highway 2000's North-South leg and the Jamaica North-South Highway, linking communities, speeding up commerce, and reshaping how the country functions internally. That all sounds good on paper, until you look a little deeper. And what comes next is where opinions start to divide. Because infrastructure is never just infrastructure. Roads, ports, and hospitals build goodwill, but they also build influence. They shape who Jamaica depends on, who it listens to, and who it aligns with in moments of global tension. And before we get into how serious that tension has become, if you're finding value in this breakdown, consider subscribing to the channel. Thriving Threads exists to unpack stories like this, without noise, without hype, and without talking down to you.
Jamaica has also been the largest recipient of Chinese investments in the Caribbean. How has that experience worked out for you?
China's been very good to Jamaica, and China's been a very good infrastructure development partner. We benefited from Chinese investment and Chinese loans, particularly during the period of time when there was the global recession, 2008 to 2010. And we used that to support the development of infrastructure, particularly our highways. And that has been an economic boom for us. But in terms of our debt profile, Chinese debt is approximately about 4% of Jamaica's overall debt. What we encourage is greater investment from China, and we're seeing that in many areas, particularly in infrastructure, construction particularly.
This is where Jamaica's leadership comes into focus. Under Andrew Holness, the government has made it clear that development is a top priority. Jobs, growth, and long-term competitiveness come first. The challenge is doing that without angering China on one side or the United States on the other. In Jamaican terms, it's trying to have your cake and eat it too. But this is where things start to get uncomfortable. And what happens next explains why Jamaica suddenly found itself in the middle of a much bigger conversation. Recently, the Trump administration halted green card processing for several countries. Jamaica was on that list. On the surface, it looked like just another immigration policy decision. But what many people don't know is that before that list was published, the US met privately with leaders from several countries, including Jamaica. Now, pause here, because context matters. What follows is opinion and speculation, not confirmed fact. Look at what's happening globally. Trump openly talking about Greenland, increased pressure on Venezuela and its oil, Russia and Ukraine locked in war, China watching Taiwan closely. Many analysts argue we're at a crossroads, a shift away from a US-dominated world toward what some call a new world order, where power is more divided and alliances matter more than ever. So it's reasonable to ask, were those meetings about alignment? From Washington's perspective, were they testing where Jamaica's loyalty lies? And if Jamaica chose to prioritize development goals tied closely to China, did that raise red flags? And this is where things get tricky, because in moments like this, staying neutral can sometimes look like choosing a side. Knowing Jamaica's history, it's possible the government tried to play both sides. But in a world this polarized, neutrality often looks like opposition. And that may explain why Jamaica ended up on that green card list. Again, that's opinion. And this is where I really want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell me what you think. Coincidence, pressure, or a quiet warning shot? Now, let's zoom back out, because to truly understand why China is so invested in Jamaica, we need to talk about the Belt and Road Initiative. And this part connects Jamaica to something much bigger than the Caribbean. China's Belt and Road Initiative is a global strategy focused on building infrastructure, ports, and trade routes across developing regions. From Asia to Africa to Latin America, China has been buying stakes in ports, financing highways, and funding development projects. In Africa especially, China has secured access to critical minerals and resources that the modern tech industry depends on. Resources the United States also relies on for smartphones, computers, and advanced technology. This isn't random, it's systematic. And China choosing Jamaica is no accident. Jamaica offers access, influence, and proximity to the US market, all wrapped in a culturally influential Caribbean leader. From a strategic standpoint, it's almost perfect. And here's where the quote starts to make sense. "The enemy of my enemy is my friend." In simple terms, as China's influence grows, the United States starts to see countries closely aligned with China through a different lens. Not necessarily as friends, but as risks. Does that mean the US now sees Jamaica as an enemy? Not officially, but suspicion changes relationships, and many Jamaicans have already made their own judgments. As several of you pointed out in the comments on our previous video, some believe China has done far more for Jamaica than the United States ever has. And if that's true, should Jamaica ignore development opportunities out of loyalty to history? That's not an easy question, because China isn't perfect. Far from it. China has a reputation for predatory agreements, long loan terms, and deals that can quietly bleed countries financially over time. In some cases, nations end up trading resources for development and paying a heavy price later. But Jamaica doesn't get to choose a perfect partner. It gets to choose the lesser of two devils. And as we say in Jamaica, you have to kiss ass before you can kick it. Jamaica is in a sticky predicament. But if the government plays its cards right, with discipline, patience and transparency, Jamaica could become the Singapore of the Caribbean, a logistics hub, a regional force, a country others look to for direction, especially when you consider the possibility that there may even be oil off Jamaica's shores. And if you think this conversation needs to reach more people, now is the time to share this video in your WhatsApp and Facebook groups. These are the discussions families and communities should be having. So the question isn't whether Jamaica matters, it's how Jamaica chooses to matter. And if you want to understand how all of this ties into Trump, Venezuela, and what could come next for the island, make sure you check out our last video titled The Battle for Jamaica, Trump vs. China, where we break down how Trump's moves in Venezuela could shape Jamaica's future. Because small countries don't become important by accident, and what happens next will matter more than most people realize.